Okay, we're all set. Let's do this. Let's go. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. I hope you're all doing okay. So we are the 7th of October, 2021. And I whipped out the old apron, which I hadn't put on for several months because I'm starting to feel the cool air in our studio. It is starting to be kind of chilly, even though it's a beautiful day here in Nice, France. But here in the studio, it's a sign of things to come. So anyways, let's start off our day like we always do. Let's go over to the computer. Let's check out what we did yesterday, and then we'll tackle our day from there. So yesterday, what did we do? We did quite a bit, actually. We put a second coat on our deep space, added a lot of details to our earth or to the bottom part of our painting. We added stars to our celestial being. Look at all that. Wonderful. And then eventually we ended the day by adding the first coat of green paint to our frame. So I want to bring your attention to what we just saw when I put the details on our higher blue area way up here. As you might have noticed in the stream that I just showed you in the recap, it looked extremely bright, but if you look carefully now, you can see that these light streaks that were so light yesterday just darkened as they dried, and they blend in beautifully to give like these hints of blue streaks on this dark cobalt. And that is pretty awesome. That is what I was hoping for yesterday. I turned off the lights so there wouldn't be the reflection on the canvas. So I'll just turn these back on. There you go. Like that I can see a little better as well. So what are we going to do today? Well, we are going to go down and concentrate on the lower part of our painting. We are going to, I'm going to start off by putting the first coat of cerulean blue on our two main characters, and then we're going to be putting the first coat of some plants all the way around the rest of the lower part of our canvas. So, what am I doing now? Oh yes, so I am lost. I have to get into the groove of things. So what am I going to do? I'm going to get some cerulean blue and some light. Whoops, look at that. I'm making a mess already. And I haven't even started painting yet. So I am going to mix some white paint with our cerulean blue to make it fairly light. And then we will use the cerulean blue out of the tube for the darker shading of our people. Little child and a parent. And they are really not the major subject of this painting. The major subject of this painting is the universe, the cosmos, the vastness of everything compared to man, which is nothing but a little speck of dirt. So I got the cerulean blue. I'm going to get a little bit of the white paint. I don't have much of a surface to paint here, so I don't need to put too much. And this is just going to be the first coat anywho. And then afterwards, I'm going to put the first coat of white paint on a lot of my plants. And I put the white background on the plants so that the green, when I paint over it, it sticks out more, that the colors are more vibrant. But unfortunately, that also means it's going to be a fairly short stream today. But that's the way it goes. So let me find a paintbrush. So I'm going to use a wider paintbrush just to mix in the blue and the white together. There's so little there, it's just going to take a few seconds. I have a few, what's going on here? A few little bit of paint that dried on my paintbrush. There we go. So usually I do this on camera number 1, but I don't think it's worth it today. This is going to go by very quickly. I have just a little bit of amount of paint there, so. But let me just blend all this in so it's nice and homogeneous. Actually, this is turning out to be slightly darker than I was hoping for. No, I guess not. I guess it's just it hasn't been all mixed together well. There we go. There we go. Nice baby blue. And I'm going to grab a small paintbrush. I don't know which one. Maybe I'll start off with this. And if this turns out to be a little too big, I'll take a smaller one. But anyways, let's try this out first. Put that to soak. I'll grab my chair over here and bring that here. Okay, so let's start in with this. I guess maybe I can just bring camera number 1 over and get that ready. I'll zoom in as well. Go. Get rid of the excess water on my brush. There we go. And I'm going to just switch over to camera number 1. Well, I'm a little rusty today. I don't know why. Had all week to warm up. You would think we're Monday morning, but no. We are Thursday. So let's get to work. Oof. There we go. There we go. It's always a little awkward, this stage of the painting, I think. But I'm not too worried about it since I know how it turns out most of the time, so just have to be patient. Oh. So the bottom part of this guy always right down here is kind of awkward. And it's on purpose because I know that I'm going to put some plants in front of this, which is going to hide the whole bottom. So that is why I'd never bothered to do the bottom parts of these people. All this will end up kind of by being covered up by my plants. I guess all this will make a lot more sense when the shading will go on and the outlines afterwards. Okay, so this is the first part that I wanted to do. We will let that dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to get some white paint together so we can do our foliage afterwards. Bonjour Claudine. Ça va? Oui, off. Ça va-t-il? D'accord, ça marche. Okay. So now let's get some white paint together to put the background to my plants. All right. Just saying hello to my friend Claudine, who has a studio right upstairs where she does jewelry. Very special kind of jewelry, I must admit. And sculptures. Oops, had something in my eye there. There we go. So, let's get the white paint together here. And I think I'll just use the cap as a palette. This paint is awfully thick here. What is this? I don't think I can use this. I don't know why the paint here is so dry, but I'm definitely not going to use this. Huh. So let's get some more paint. Yeah, this looks... I am getting to the bottom of my jar. Maybe that has something to do with it. And anyways, so as before, I am going to add some water to this, of course. so it glides, so that the paint glides on the canvas a lot better, a lot easier. And clean off my knife. I'm just going to step back to check out a little bit what I'm going to paint here. Okay. It's kind of like a puzzle. Little by little, putting all the pieces in. But first, let's get the paint ready here. I put a bunch of water. Here again, not worth going to camera number 1 just to mix in water and white paint. Not that exciting or interesting. This paint looks good right now. Looks like it's the right texture. So now I have to kind of decide what paintbrush I'm going to use and what size. I want to do something like about that big right in there. So brush will I use for that? This one. So, could I use that one? No, definitely not that one. I need something that I have control over. Not too thick, not too thin. What about this brush? I'm going to try this brush. If it doesn't work, I'll switch. It's kind of a new brush, and it's kind of one of these Japanese ink brushes. But I'm not sure it's going to... I guess if I don't try it, I won't know. So let's try it today, and I'll switch immediately if I see it's going to give me some trouble. So let me get over here. I will switch to camera number 1. And oh, this is a very interesting paintbrush, I must admit. Well, seems to be doing the trick. I'm going to stick with it. Okay, like that, I guess. Okay, so I am going to just step back a little bit, take a look. And like I mentioned, this is kind of like a puzzle that I'm putting together, kind of just improvising as I go along. So maybe I'm going to go and tackle the other side of this painting and get a little tree right in there, some foliage as well. Just like that, I guess. Okay, let me step back and take a look at that. All right. Kind of just trying to get the outlines first. Okay. Very good. I am now going to just kind of switch paintbrushes for one a little bit smaller. And I'm going to keep adding these little plants. Just like that. There we go. Believe it or not, these are just the background plants because I have an idea of making larger leaves going all the way around. But we'll see that afterwards. One step at a time, I guess. There we go. Kind of weird painting everything in white first and adding colors afterwards, but if I didn't do the white first, I would end up having to put like 2-3 coats of the colors on top afterwards. So this does save me some time in the long run, believe it or not. There we go. Guess we can still put one in here as well, maybe a little bit smaller. That. There we go. Yeah, and always trying to keep some movement in my plants and everything I paint. There we go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There we go. It doesn't have to be perfect because nothing is perfect in nature, right? So, that done, I have to basically step back and take a look. Very good. Okay. So, I'm going to go back to my first brush. So let me just take a second here. Think this all out. Okay. I think I know what I'm going to do next. Let me bring it down here a little bit. Camera number 1. Again, I'll move it to the side so I'm not in front of it. But first, I think I need a little more white paint. Not much, but just a little bit. So let me just grab a little knife full right there. And work this out with some water. Clean off my knife before I continue. So I'm not going to be able to do anything else in this area once I do these plants. So maybe I'll just concentrate and put a second coat of the green paint. Like that. That will be done. All we'll have to do is the shading of our frame when time comes. So let me just work a little bit of water with this white paint. So let me step back again and see what do I want to do here. Okay. I have a couple of ideas, but let's just tackle one at a time. And getting the outline done first, just to know where I'm going. Go. Come down right like that. Okay, very good. I'm just checking out my other paint brushes. Because I would like to do something else. Yes, there we go. Okay. Okay, so let me get back to the camera number 1 again. Go. Strangely enough, this is still just background plants. I intend to build on top of these. Well, at least that's my initial thought. I might change my mind. As it often happens, you never know. Get that out of the way there. I like being precise in my strokes, I must admit. go. Oh, I'm fucking breaking my back here. For crying out loud, something I hate doing. But I don't have anything smaller to sit on. So let's get this last leaf done. And then I can straighten everything out. There we go. When I mean straighten everything out, I mean my back. Jesus. Okay. Okay, let me step back again. Take a look, see what this looks like. Okay, not too bad. I'm not unhappy with what I've done so far. And I think I'm going to just continue, right? I see no reason to stop now. Maybe just to give my back a break. I do have a weak back, I must admit. So let me just step back again. Okay, so I'm going to add one more of these like little spider plants right in here. Leave some room for my $1 million signature, which will go right there. And then, of course, I have all my leaves that I mentioned earlier that are going to go all the way around, at least theoretically. So let's get this last little spider plant together here. Here, let me see if I can't move the camera in a different position, have a different angle, maybe zoom in a little bit. Let's try that, see what happens. So, you know what? I just had an idea. And my idea is to pull out my paint can that I used yesterday as a stool to get to the top of up there. And I have a little pillow right here, so I might as well just go right there and be comfortable, I guess, to do this last plant. So there we go. Yes, there we go. Much better. Like that, I don't have to break my back. So let's come back to camera number 1. As I did put on that paint very thick yesterday right there. I didn't quite knife it on, but there's enough texture on there to make you think that I did. right? Just a little bit bigger. There we go. And I guess I'll add just one more right in here. Just like that. Let me get rid of this. There we go. So, that's not bad. So, how do things look? I guess I can move this over. So, and step back and check out what we did so far. Okay, very good, very good. So, I think we are just about done for today. I kind of hate stopping, so therefore, I think it's going to be a good idea for me to put that second coat of green paint on our frame. Like that, all we have to do when we get to the frame itself is just to add some shadowing, some darker green to make it, give it some richness, some depth. And then we'll be all set. Then we'll add the details to the frame. But we're not quite there yet. Where are we? We are going to put the second coat of green. So let me find the palette I used yesterday. Here it is. Grab. Oops, jeez, knocking everything over. So let's get some green paint here. There's an awful lot in there, but it doesn't matter. I can always put the excess back in the jar when we're done. So, got that done. Let me put this away. So what paintbrush? I used, I guess, this paintbrush, seeing that the hairs are all kind of green. And this looks about right. This will go quickly. There we go. Let me just add some water, of course, to all this. Blend it all in. There we go. Maybe even a little more water. There we go. Since I have quite a bit of paint. And again, since I'm not blending in any colors, I don't see any point of going over and doing this on camera number 1. Not that interesting, just water and green paint on a green background. So really not much to look at, but it's important for me to do what I'm doing right now. And I'm even going to add just a little bit more water. Otherwise, I'm afraid I won't have enough paint to go all the way around. There, this should do it. Plus the texture looks a lot better to work with. So I'm just going to move all this around. Okay, so this looks pretty good. I guess we can add this second coat. I will grab my stool that I just put away, God knows why, because I wasn't thinking ahead. So let's bring this baby back out. I'll set him there. Like usual, I'm going to start on that upper left-hand corner, work my way around. So I'll bring the camera over to the side and up. Zoom in maybe a little bit like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. So you do have the glare of that upper light, don't we? It doesn't matter. I'm not going to shut off the lights for that. So let me switch to camera number 1. There we go. And get the second coat on. I don't have to go as close to the edge as I did yesterday for the second coat, so it's going to go a lot quicker. It's basically just to get rid of all the paintbrush marks from yesterday. The color's a lot more vibrant. Be careful, so I don't want to have any of this green paint drip on our painting either. There, goes really quickly. So let's go over to the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to turn off the light just for a few seconds here. Just so we don't have the glare. And like that, oops, I'm in the way. I hate that. I don't want to be in the way of the camera. There, how's that? Let's try that. Okay, so look at that, beautiful. Very good. So, I guess I don't need the stool anymore. Let me bring this camera down. I'll move this to the side, just like that. Guess I'll need my chair though for the bottom part of this painting. Okay, is that all done? Okay, very good. That side is done. Let me just go down here a little bit more. There, what happens if I go there? How does that look? I have to keep an eye on the camera as well, because at the end of my stream, I edit what we did, the work we did today. I edited both cameras, and that will be the recap of tomorrow. Which reminds me, I forgot to put yesterday's recap on Instagram. Forgot to do that today. Oh well, no big deal. So let's go down. Let's go down over here. Let's go back to camera number 1. Finish off the bottom of this canvas. I'm going to turn the lights back on though. Of course, when you're looking at the camera or the film, you don't see the brush strokes. It's only when you're standing in front of the painting that you actually see the brush strokes and why we have to put this second coat of paint to, whoa, look at that. Nice streak of white paint there. Fortunately, the green overwhelms it. There we go. Very good. Right? We all done? Think so. Very good. So we got that done. Tomorrow we'll work more on our person, put some colors in here, and then we'll take off for the weekend. Tomorrow is Friday. So, where are we at? Let me get camera number 1 back here so we can have a shot from afar, just to have a different view of our painting.
Salut Pitts, il semblait bien que j'avais entendu ta voix, je t'ouvre.
So, some friends who just yelled at me from the window. So where was I? I was going to have the both shots. Okay, so let's take a look at all this. So that is from camera number 2, as you can tell. Then I'll just switch over. And that's our view from camera number 1. And I will conclude by coming over here and by thanking you all for joining me for today's stream. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did doing it. I hope as well that you will join me tomorrow for another session of painting. It'll be a short stream tomorrow because it's Friday and it's time to party, right? So my friends, like usual, I'm going to leave you with 2 things. I'm going to leave you first of all with my schedule, and second of all by saying, ciao mes amis.